scope power steering wheel here. And right away you're going to see the nice kind of sporty LED gauges in front of you that are actually changeable. Again, depending on the trim level of the vehicle. On this vehicle, they actually moved some of the stuff, so you're accustomed to having your seat adjustments on the left side of the seat. They actually moved these adjustments up to the left side of the door. So passenger driver, now the seat adjustment is actually on the door. So it makes it a little bit easier to get to so you're not reaching down the long side of the seat. This vehicle here has some nice features. Heads-up display, lane keep assist with lane departure warning, forward collision alert. This also has front pedestrian detection and front pedestrian braking, which will actually notify you if detect somebody in front of you. It will actually apply the brakes if you do not apply the brakes. Also has parallel parking and horizontal parking. So went with a nice sporty shifter here. So it's a little bit of a change too from the XTS. Now this vehicle here also offers what they call an active chassis suspension. So what that is going to do is in low speed driving through parking lots, you actually have whatever direction you turn your front wheels, your rear wheels actually turn the opposite direction. So it makes it a little bit easier for parking and lower speed maneuvers. Now what it does is at higher speeds, the direction you turn the steering wheel, your rear wheels will actually turn slightly in that same direction. So it just gives you a nice kind of fluid lane change. In the CT6, you have 3 different engines that you can choose from. There is a 2-liter turbo that's pretty much GM's standard engine across the board on entry level models. That is only available in the base CT6, and in the base CT6 what that's going to give you is just rear wheel drive only on that vehicle. Then you go up to, from your base to a luxury, premium luxury, and then a platinum. And across those 3 trim levels there, you can go from either the 3.6 liter V6, or the new engine that is available in this vehicle is a 3-liter twin turbo V6, which gives a little bit more power. It's a nice strong engine, and it's just a little different from the standard 3.6 that, again, General Motors uses pretty much in all of their vehicles. Right off the bat, you kind of get a nice sporty ride, and you're not really sacrificing anything. Normally when you go do a sporty ride, you kind of lose some of the nice smooth ride that you would get in a bigger sedan. And right off the bat, it's noticeable that this vehicle, you get the sportier ride, the nice stiff suspension, the quick handling, but you're not really sacrificing any of the ride that you would typically associate with going one or the other. The steering wheel is nice and sporty feeling. Again, a little bit different from the XTS. They've actually moved some of the buttons around, so if you've looked at an XT5 or are familiar with that, Cadillac has kind of changed their layout of the steering wheel buttons a little bit from what people are a little more used to. So they've just made things easier to get to. You have your lane keep assist on and off right here that you can actually turn on and off with your thumb. You're not having to reach anywhere and do it on the dashboard. You have your forward collision is also right there. Touch to talk buttons are right to the left. Cruise control buttons on the left also, and then you have your buttons for your radio and your instrument cluster in front of you to the right side. Also has paddle shifters in behind the steering wheel too, so it gives you a nice sporty drive if you want to put it in the manual setting here with the shifter, and then you have your right and left paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. One thing on this vehicle, you have the dual sunroof. The nice thing about this is Cadillac has kind of geared this car a little bit more towards both the driver and the passengers. So, you know, sometimes people get in cars and it's a little bit more comfortable for the driver than it is for the rear passenger. And what Cadillac did with this vehicle is there are actually buttons in the back when you have the dual sunroof like this, that the rear passengers can actually open the shade back, the rear shade, if they wanted to. So some vehicles you have a panoramic sunroof, and it's kind of, you jump in the back seat and maybe you don't want the sunroof, the sun coming through in your portion of the roof. The driver has it that way. The settings and the controls are usually up front for the driver to control. So the rear passengers are pretty much stuck with what they have. There's actually buttons to control to open and close that shade in the back. There's also a rear shade that slides up and down that you can control from the front, but also if the rear passengers wanted to put that shade up, they can actually hit the button on their door and it will actually put that shade up. This vehicle also has two shades on each side of the rear doors, so they slide up from the door sill and they connect to the top, so it gives you a little bit more added shading and privacy in the back. It comes with an available massage seat, so if you get that, you get it in the driver, the front passenger, and you can also get it for the rear passengers. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to put the control on the door, just like where your seat controls are. And it's just a four-way button you can actually control, and you can control the massage in the lower seat plus the back of the seat. Have it move it back and forth, up and down wherever you want. Do the shoulder, so it gives you a couple different areas that you can massage. Hit the button start and it'll actually massage for about 10 minutes and then it shuts itself off automatically. You can go back in then and turn it back on, but it will actually go through its function for 10 minutes and then shut itself off. One of the other great features that is available on this vehicle that you can kind of get across trim levels is the Bose Pan-Array stereo, which Cadillac and Bose both are very excited about. It's a great stereo system that has 34 speakers in the vehicle. And the nice thing, what Bose did with General Motors, they got together with General Motors and Cadillac, and they actually designed this stereo with more of a theater quality. There's an anti-theft recorder that you can actually get in the vehicle. What it does is there's an SD card slot located in the trunk of the vehicle, and what it does is you get out of your car, you set the alarm, you go inside the house or inside to work. If somebody were to come up to your car and pull the door handle to try to get into the car, what it's going to do is there's actually 4 cameras located on the vehicle. So you have your forward-facing camera, your 2 cameras that are under the side view mirrors on each side, and then your rear-facing camera. So what this system is going to do is it's actually going to circle and cycle through each one of those cameras and record for between 5 to 10 seconds, switch to the next camera, and it will actually go around and record it until either nobody's pulling on the door handle, or it'll actually kind of cycle through a few times and then shut itself off. When you get into the vehicle, it will actually give you a warning that that there was an attempt that somebody was trying to get into the car. You can actually pull up on the dash here through the touchscreen. You can actually pull up and view the video that was recorded in the car. What Cadillac did is they actually put almost like a mouse pad that you would have on your laptop right here. So it's nice, again, arm sitting here, it's a very comfortable position, but you can actually just touch this touchpad, and if you see up on the screen here, you get a little green box. and you can just swipe back and forth on what you want to pick. Go down. You can actually tune in down there. You can browse. If you wanted to pick your navigation, you would just hit that, touch, and it will actually pull up your navigation setting. If you wanted to go into your radio setting after that, you just swipe over, touch again. It's going to take you into your radio setting. Now what Cadillac went a step further to do is actually the pad can tell if you're using 1, 2, or 3 fingers. So 1 finger is just going to give you a single box that you can kind of move around and choose. If you use 2 fingers, what that's going to do is you see if I sweep to the left and to the right, you'll actually see the station change. So if I sweep to the right, what it's actually doing is it's actually tuning in, either going forward, or if I sweep to the left, it actually tunes back to the station previous. If you're in the XM setting, it's going to do the same thing. It's just going to go from one station. You swipe to the left or right, it's going to go forward to the next station. The next one that it's going to do is if I use 3 fingers and I actually swipe up, you actually see the screen move up. So you can have, it's going to show you your stations that you have stored in. Again, 3 fingers, swipe back down, and the screen moves down. So it's a really neat system. Cadillac put some time and effort into it. Again, it's very easy, very intuitive to use. It's not, I know some people that have used the xDrive, and I've used it myself. It can be a little complicated if you've never used it before. A lot of twisting of the knob and pushing of the buttons. This here is pretty straightforward. If you do have a cell phone that has wireless charging, before in the XTS and some of the other vehicles, there was a screen that kind of lifted up and you set it back in there on a pad, and that's where you charged